good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it happens to be for you wherever you are. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So, Tough RBG, Tom Tomkin here again, talking about Crystal Cove still. Now, I'm going to start talking about how to run the Crystal Cove challenge solo. Okay, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it is definitely possible. Before you even go into that door over there, okay, this one right over here, we already talked about how to collect compasses and how to make sure that you can make as many runs of this as you want. But now I want to talk about what you do to make sure that each run is as successful as possible. Okay, there are a couple of things that you can do to help. The first thing that's really helpful is if you happen to have already been a big spender in the game and you've bought the top level expansion packs and stuff like that, you have these permanent hirelings at level 30 or 32, right? You know the ones: Froggo, Feywild Muse, the Teal, the Raptor, and the Shield Guardian. Yes, I am that guy. If you're not that guy, that's okay. You can still do this. But if you are that guy, it's a little easier, okay? Because running it truly by yourself with no hirelings is really difficult, even if you got everything going right, okay? So that's one thing you can do that will help. But, if you don't have it, that's okay. You don't have to have that, okay? Um, Near the tail end of this, we'll talk about what to do. And the whole time through, I guess we'll just talk about what you can do instead of all this, okay? Really, all you need is two good hirelings, all right? Um, so if you don't have any of this stuff, any of these gold seal hirelings, um, play an artificer or a druid or a pale master, right? And use your pet. The pet will suffice. The AI doesn't have to be a strong character. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be a speed bump. All right, that's all it needs to be. Uh, the other thing that you really want is you want the ability to access the Dimension Door spell. Okay. Hmm, pardon me. Um, which really, I guess, what that means is if you don't have any of these, the premium option is Pale Master because they've got both Dimension Door and a pet. Okay. Um, Ideally, though, you want one or more of these Gold Seal hirelings. Then you just buy a regular hireling from a vendor if you've only got one, or you use multiple of these if you've got them. The other thing you want is you want a character that's fast. All right. I'm playing a bard, and as a bard, I have enhancements. Now, this is not the best build for a bard, okay? My normal bard build does not include the sprint action boost or the swashbuckler fast movement. Normally, that's not what I do because it's not the strongest build. But I shifted things up a little bit. I turned them some points here and there to get the fast movement and the action boost, okay? So what this does is this gives me a standing speed all the time of about 169, 170, right? That means no matter what, I'm always fast. I'm always good and fast. And the faster you are, the better. But I can hit an action boost and I can go even faster. All right, watch this, okay? So right now, 169 is pretty fast, man, right? I hit the speed boost though. Look at that, 219%. That's like being on a fast horse. That is speedy. That is what you want. Barbarians get speed boost. Monks get speed boost. Rogues get speed boost. But that's not the only thing you want. The other thing you also want that I think makes Bard a great choice is area of effect damage. Okay. As a spell singer, I've got Horn of Thunder, I've got Shout, I've got Shout SLA, I've got Greater Shout, right? I've got this Echoes of Discord. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 area of effect damage spells that are pretty strong damage. And you don't need to be top level damage. You don't need to be, you know, alchemist, sorcerer, whatever top level damage because the challenge is it's a wilderness basically. It's normal difficulty level. It's not top tier. It doesn't need you to be, Billy Badass or, Super Commando or whatever, You don't need to be an X-Man, okay? Right. So, once you got your character figured out, and I like artificers are good for their cheap area of effect damage, but they're not all that fast. Um, Monks and barbarians are good for their speed, um, and they can kind of do AOE, so that's not a bad choice. The new Sacred Fist, I understand, does have some AOE, but I'm not sure about the speed. All right, so for me, because I do have some of these gold hirelings, I like Bard. Okay, and Bard's not bad. Bard's pretty good. So as we discussed before, you got a bunch of coins. All these coins came from one run of Crystal Cove, where all I did was just run around and kill everything. All right. With these coins, I can buy a crap ton of these treasure compasses. All right. And they also help me buy the treasures I want from the box. All right. And you can see my gear is nothing special. Yeah, I've got Bright Gaze. I've got, Feyweave Robe. I've got, the Green Dragon Scale Braces. A lot of Feywild stuff. Okay. I've got the Feywild Dreamer set on from Sharn Docks. I've got Spring Storms. I've got the legendary Gossamer Weave Cloak. I've got little bit I got a trinket for some false life and some resistance, for my saving throws, insightful constitution. Yeah, that was crafted, but there's no raid equipment here. There's no super special crazy items. Like probably the craziest, specialist, weirdest thing is Golden Orb of Death, which comes from Temple of Elemental Evil. I haven't even ran the new version. This is from the old two-part version. But I think the same thing drops, and I like the insightful spell lore 5, you know. But is it absolutely necessary? No, it's not. It's not absolutely necessary. You don't, like I said, you don't have to be Billy Badass. All right, that's not required. So this character is nothing special. It's just standard level 30, level 29, 30 gear. You know, nothing that anyone can't get as long as they own the content, okay? So there's a couple different stages to, oh man, something in my eye, sorry. There's a couple different stages to this, okay? And I'll go through them as we do them. And I'm going to make several trips through here before I actually complete it, and I don't know if I actually even will complete one steady all the way through. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Travel to Crystal Cove. Again, go 5 levels over your level. Don't go over 35 because currently it is bugged. Anything over 36, you don't get the right rewards. You don't get gems for killing things inside, and you don't get a progenitor crystal. All right? So the very first thing you do, the first time you run it, you run through the entire map. You kill every monster in the whole map, and then you leave. You don't even worry about collecting crystals. That does 2 things, at least. That one, It gets you a whole bunch of the gems that you can turn into a crap load of doubloons so that you can buy a lot of treasure compasses and just keep coming back, and you don't have to run around Smuggler's Rest and do all that stuff. All right. The other thing it does is it gets your entire map filled out. And once I get inside, I'm going to show you why that's important. Basically, it's because you need to know where that progenitor crystal is and whether or not it's worth chasing it down, right? Let's pull the map up first thing. Boom, there's a progenitor crystal right there. The other place it can come in is down here, right? And that's a long trip. If it's down there, don't even bother most times. I mean, if you want to do just that, if you've got a torch requisition, go down there. Okay, sure, fine. Okay, first stage is gathering resources and scouting. Okay, these guys are running around. They're doing their little koboldy things. Don't even mess with them. Don't spend any crystal points yet. Uh-oh, I messed up already. See, hold on a sec. I'm gonna hit my fast run. All right, I'm gonna come up here. Because the first thing you need to do, aside from summoning hirelings, is to grab these 2 torches right here. Because torches are in short supply, you never have enough, and you need to make sure you get every torch possible, right? So grab this torch, and... Oops, wrong button. There we go, there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right, and get your torches up into here, okay? This will give your kobold something to do while you get set up, okay? So the first thing you do is you want to run over here to this entrance to the main cave, and you want to grab one of your hirelings. This guy will do. Alright, so kill all this stuff up here. Okay. Now. Archers suck. Okay. So now, you take one of your tougher hirelings, put him right here, put him on active, and park him right here. So he just stands here and stands guard. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. Come over here. Take your 2 weaker ones, if you have weaker ones. I do. Park them here at the bottom of the ramp. If something gets past your door guard, which it will, you've got at least another chance that something that can be attacked instead of kobolds right there going up the ramp. And, it's basically a decoy to distract the bad guys from killing your foreman, because if your foreman gets killed, you can't do anything. And oh, pardon me, something in my throat, man. And wow, Teal, are you invisible or something? You're just blending in. Great. All right. Now, look here. Look at these guys. They're fighting the Shield Guardian. All right. Shield Guardian's not having any problem really. They're not hurting it. It's pretty tanky. Of course, it's not hurting them very well either. Okay, so you can't rely on your hirelings to win these fights. Okay, but what they are good for is buying you time, and this is why you want characters that have Dimension Door. Okay, so gives you time to come to the rescue. All right. What is going on here? Why is that? How about target Teal? Oh, I had Teal targeted. I'm a dummy. Okay. Okay. So now I'm taking my time and I'm lollygagging. I'm not being as fast as I should. But these kobolds, they're running around. They're getting the gems from this cavern, for the most part. Mostly that room. And while that room is being emptied out, you want to go as fast as you can. In the case of the Bard, I also like to be invisible, except for then that gets ruined by these guys showing up. But you know what? I can cast it again. Oh, for freck's sake. Okay. All right. So, all right. So you got all these guys. Yeah, they hear me, but yeah, they're not gonna chase me. All right. And oh, look, purples. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for where the purples are land. There's a couple here. It's not great, but it's worth remembering. All right. And there's not a big batch here. Sometimes there's a big batch there. So this is what I call the north loop because it's north. It points north, and it's a loop, right? Okay. So sometimes the north loop has really good crystal layout. Not this time. So I'm going to run down to the waterfall now. And there's almost always a pretty decent amount of purples on the way down to the waterfall and around the waterfall. And so I almost just always just go ahead and kill these guys and prep this area because look at all the purples down here. See? This is what you're looking for, right? Now, I've seen better clusters. You got at least one smoking set, you know. All right. So they're going to go away pretty quick. So yeah, that tells you, hey, you got to get to these, all right? And down here we got progenitor crystal. We got all right. Not a lot of purples down here. Could be better, honestly. Okay, but there's the progenitor crystal right there. Okay, and the best way to get to that, if you want to go for it, is to run up this side of the map. Yeah, purring Spectre. Come on, Spectre. All right. Okay. Okay, see now, I don't have to be there right away instantly like I would if I had no hirelings up there, right? You can run this corridor right here. This corridor is the fastest route from the progenitor to, you know, your home base. However, you got to be careful because this corridor is where a lot of monsters spawn. And this room right down here, which is, you know, right over here, okay, right over there, a lot of monsters spawn in there, and then they walk their way up this corridor. That's a normal route. Lots of monsters come through this corridor. So if you use this corridor, you've got to monitor it because it's going to be a problem. Also, a lot of monsters come from up this way, okay? There's a room up here that's full of them, and those guys don't leave that room, but monsters spawn right in here. Big patrols of those hobgoblins, those guys right there, they spawn in that area. That's probably where these guys came from. Either that or the long corridor that I just marched up, right? So now you've done a loop. And you've got a good idea where there are some purples. The only other way you really want to check right now is you want to check this way. There's a purple there. Okay. Sometimes there's a good patch right here. Oftentimes there's a good patch right there. Not this time. And then down here at the end of this corridor and down that way is often a place where purple crystals live. Uh-oh, a purple burst on me. Knocked me down. So that's why you want to stay away from purples. Alright, so there's some purples over here. Honestly, this dungeon, this instance is not the best. It could be a lot better. Just to kind of show you guys around, I'm going to go ahead and hit my boost one more time. And I'm going to run down to the area that we call the bowling alley. Sometimes there's some really nice patches of purples down this way. In fact, yeah, there's a couple. That's pretty nice looking. But this is a long walk, and really, unless a progenitor crystal is down here, and it's a worthwhile trip, this is usually not where you want to go. And yeah, there are some nice purples down here. That's pretty typical, okay? And probably the quickest way down here is through this corridor and then through that real active corridor and then right down through here. But again, that's a hazardous trip. It's not the best route. You're going to have to constantly monitor it. So what you do now, this room is all used up. The kobolds are running back and forth. We got 71 crystals, which is pretty good, really. we want to pick up all these torches, okay? And we're going to run to the waterfall because that's where the best layout of crystals is. And we've already got 71, so we really don't need a lot. Now, okay, before we make the run, though, we're going to get set up. We're going to go and talk to the foreman, all right? And we're going to buy all the torches we can. And on this run, I'm not going to recommend buying, using a requisition to add torches. It's just not good enough. It's just not a good enough lay. Teleporter and all the barrels I can. All right, 10 barrels. Don't use a requisition. A layout like this, it's not good enough for requisitions. Usually they're pretty precious. You only get them when you kill the named bosses in this quest. So you don't want to waste your requisitions on a gem layout like this. See, now we're in the next phase, which is where we're actually starting to go and get crystals rounded up. Okay, we've done our scouting. We've done all that. Now we know where we're going. Now we got our plan. You know what? I should sing to myself. Now, when I lay torches out, sometimes you'll see that you go too far. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count the steps. 9, 10. And around 9 or 10, I hit the button. 10. And I'm not worried about my main room because I know that it's not a boss yet because it's not late enough. We haven't met our quota yet, so it's not Jack Jibbers. And Jack Jibbers is the one you really got to worry about, right? So I'm just going to make a run down here. I'm going to get this line set up so that the kobolds can start getting these things collected. All right. Okay. And I'm going to back up just a little bit. And I'm going to put my kobold teleporter right here. Kind of centralize it amongst where all the gems are. Now, DDO, back to the opening and deal with this. Oh, there is a name. Look at that. My robot held him off, kept him at the door. Everything's good. By the way, that Shield Guardian is one of the best hirelings you can get. It's such a good hireling. You have acquired your quota. Okay, now at this point, now we're in defensive mode. Okay, the line is set. We're going to collect all the stuff we need from this one line. And you know, when you're running solo, it's best to try not to bite off too much. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Okay, real easy to try and take on too much. Go for the easy stuff. Get your quota. Get as many as you can above it. Now, as soon as you meet your quota, Jack Jibbers spawns. Okay, and he spawns in one of two places. He either spawns down here, or he spawns down here somewhere. Okay. So you know, sometimes it takes him a long time to get up to us, to the main room, and sometimes it doesn't. Is Jibbers with these guys? Let me see. I don't see him. So probably he did not spawn down here. Okay. And the Shield Guardian's coming to check, see if I'm alright, because I heard a fight, boss. I heard a fight. No, it's okay, dude. Just stay there and guard the door, okay? You be Hodor. You hold the door. I mean, like Muse and Froggo, they're all running down to help me with the fight, okay? Now, have your big map up and be watching your line on the map. If bad guys get on your map like this right here, let's see if they can see. Okay, right there. You see that? You see those little kobolds turning red, right? Like that guy right there. Okay. That means the kobold's being hurt. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be Jack Jibbers in the main room, but I want to make sure these guys are taken care of. Okay, so run down here. That's fine. DDO. And now we're gonna go fight Jack Jibbers. And there he is. And look, our hireling kept him contained. Oh yeah, negative levels. You're still not going to beat me, Jack. Ouch. Those negative levels do suck up a lot of your spell points, though, and even when you recover from, man, you've lost a lot of resources. So, you know, Death Ward. Oh boy, here we go. And you can heal your kobolds, and you can haste them. Oh look, all the gems down here have been picked up. Okay, so we've got an incoming. It's just going to be regular mobs. I'm going to let my guys hold them off, and I'm going to pick up this line. I'm not worried about that patch of greens there. That's really not worth all that much. And I'm going to run up to the top, collecting these as I go, fight whatever fight is up there, and then I'll extend the line the opposite direction to see if I can get just a little bit more, because this run is not great. I did a lot of yakking and not really keeping up with things, and honestly the crystal layout wasn't very good, and sometimes that's just the way of it. Sometimes you just don't get a good random layout of your crystals, you know. Oh, it's the Minotaur. Okay, so I've got 3 minutes left. That's not a lot, but I should be able to do something. They'll grab that purple one in route. Okay. Oopsie, went too far. All right. I don't see any point in putting the teleporter up this close to home base. Ugh. See, around here is where I like to put the teleporter. It's it'll shorten the trip when you get out this way. Let's see. There's some purples left over here. Looks like all those other ones that were out here smoked out and popped. Oh well, that happens. Now my line isn't the greatest. I could have been a little more efficient about it. Could have gotten a little extra length, but I only got 2 minutes left. They're not going to get to the end of this line anyway. Oh my, oh dear. See, look at that. That's not even connected. Okay, so really we're just finishing this out now. Now, the thing is, one of the reasons why you do this on 5 levels above your level is because, like right now, I've only got 97 or so crystals, right? Okay, but because I am 5 levels above my level, the game's going to say, hey, you did good. You went over level, and we're going to reward you with a certain percentage of rewards above and beyond what you earned. And you'll see it in about 1:13 when it's all done. That even though I only got 90 or 100, that I'll get more than that. And it's not a great run, but you practice and you learn to identify what the good runs are and what the good runs aren't. And I mean, if you do that first loop and you see a crystal layout like we saw in this one, honestly, just exit and start over. Don't waste your time. If you don't see a good crystal layout, abort mission. There's no shame in that. You're actually saving time, not losing it, because this is a 20-minute challenge. And in order to get the crystals, you have to do the whole 20 minutes, all right? So make it count. I mean, if you don't have a lot of gems, you just go around and kill everything on the map and then leave. Um, at least you'll get something out of it. With as many of the compasses that you can get. See, I got 194. I only collected 114 over my quota, but I got almost 200 of these dragon shards, right? So, you know, that's why you do it 5 over. And like I was saying, don't waste your time. You can get these treasure compasses cheap and easy just by turning in the gems you get. And I see, look, 160. I had no gems going into this run, and I walked out of there with 116 of them, and I think I had some of these already, and I added 200 green dragon shards to this. Okay, so 5 runs gets you, enough dragon shards for anything in the box, and that's kind of slow, but you can do it in the middle of the night when no one's on. You can do it during off-peak times. You can do it on Wayfinder because there's nobody on Wayfinder, because you can do it solo. Solo is faster than not running it. Okay, that's really what it is, guys. If you can't get a group together, if there's no one playing, then do it by yourself. When you can get a group together, farm the jobs out. Don't have your player characters sitting in the base camp room guarding the room all the time. Like one guy, maybe one guy. One guy is all you need. But split the scouting up. Have one guy go east, one guy go west, one guy go south to the waterfall. Like if you're the torch runner, you should just run south to the waterfall automatically all the time. If you have 2 scouts, if you have enough people, you can have 2 scouts. One goes east, one goes west. One checks the loop, one checks down at the bowling alley, right? And you just see what you got, right? The waterfall is pretty much always good, so you always run down there by default, and you can detour back, whatever. If you don't have detour, you can also use these ports, but they don't drop real commonly. They're kind of hard to get. I think you can buy them from the store, but I mean, we're trying to avoid that, right? Requisitions are good, but if you don't have a good layout, don't waste them, right? Extra workers, extra barrels, a free teleporter, extra torches are always good, and extra torch requisitions are always the ones you have the least of because you use them the most, right? But don't worry about these treasure compasses. Just you're gonna get a bunch of them. Just buy them from the box, and if you don't like the look of your layout, start over. Be on comms with a team if you can. Talk to them. Typing is kind of hard during this, but talk to them and say, have them say, one intersection west, 2 intersections south, there's a big patch of purples, or bowling alley patch of purples, or waterfall purples, or north loop purples. Have them tell you where the purples are. Then once you start laying out the line, the guys that were the scouts and went around and while they were scouting, they killed the groups of mobs that just stand around there, right? Then what you do is you have those guys run up and down the line and protect the line from the mobs that spawn in, right? And progenitor crystal is another thing altogether. Honestly, running solo, I don't usually mess with the progenitor crystal because you have basically 2 choices. You either go for crystals around the caverns and collect those, or you collect the progenitor crystal, one or the other. Usually when you solo, you don't have time to do both. Sometimes if you get a real good run, if there's a real good patch of purples immediately east or immediately west, you might have time to pick those up real quick and get the progenitor. In order to get the progenitor, though, you almost always need a torch requisition, or you can buy a handful of the healing torches. Healing torches are not ideal because the kobolds do like to stop and sniff at them, especially if they have any damage at all, and it'll slow them down. Okay, but they work. They will extend the line farther than you normally could. So healing torches are something you can use, and they do cost 3 instead of 1, so they're more expensive. All right, so you can do that. But when you get a mediocre drop for a crystal layout like we did on this one I just showed you, don't waste resources. If I hadn't been doing a video and talking about how the strategies are and how to do this, I would have dumped that one. I would have stepped out and I would have gone again. But you see, I still got basically 200 dragon shards, even from a bad run. Okay. Now, if you can only have 2 hirelings or 1 hireling and a pet, you put them at the doors. If you only got 1 hireling, if you can only do 1 hireling, um, put them at the door farthest from your line, okay? And then you just have to run up and down your line real constantly and guard it. And it gets to be real hectic, and it is going to cut into how many dragon shards you can get. So if you can only manage 1 hireling and no pets, you're and you absolutely cannot get even 1 other player together, then just understand it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. Can you do it? Yeah, you can. You can do it. But again, you have to prioritize those drops. You got to look for the instances that have lots of good purple crystals real close to home base, right? North Loop is a great place. You get a couple patches in the North Loop, that's fantastic. You get a couple patches just to the other side, just on the straight run. What's that? West? Yeah, on the west run. Great. But if you got to go all the way down to the waterfall before you get any purples, if you got to go, halfway down to the bowling alley, before you get any purples, and even then, if the purple patches are thin, dump it. Start over. If you need gems, kill everything first, then dump it and start over. Because you're not going to run out of compasses. Okay? Well, that's all for this time, and thank you if you've watched, and I hope that Crystal Cove and all your DDO endeavors go well for you, and every chest you open contains rare loot. Thank you, and may your adventuring always be profitable.